What's up, profit seekers? It's your favourite pale entrepreneur, aka lock, stock and two smoking pale.
Terrible.
Okay, let's start again. What's up, profit seekers? It's your favourite business waffler. I have a good friend, Jimmy Allett. Here he is.
Perfect.
So yeah, Jimmy is new to the whole FBA, Amazon, making money scenario scene. Jimmy's not been doing it for long, so how long have you been doing it, Jim? Just give him a little introduction to your history.
I started middle of January. After for a long time you've been saying do this, do this, do this, do this.
Yeah.
I actually started selling from about a month ago.
And how long have I been telling you to do this business? Probably about 2 years?
At least 2 years, yeah.
About 2 years, yeah.
I reckon from now about 2.5.
Don't you wish you did it sooner?
Yeah, I mean there's products you can sell now that I can't sell and that I have to apply for.
Case in point?
Yep. And that's going to be a nightmare for me, but we'll get through it. We'll sort it out. And you've obviously done it, so once again, it's just another thing you can show your viewers.
Definitely.
How to be able to sell more products, what's restricted, what's not, that type of thing.
Definitely a topic for later videos.
Yeah.
How to get ungated in categories that you're not allowed to sell in.
Yeah.
So when you first start selling out on Amazon, you're allowed to do just the basic categories, the ungated ones. And if you want to progress further, you have to unlock them. But we'll go into that in more detail in a future video. So, I'll edit that bit out. Doing a lot of editing tomorrow, I can tell, on this weekend. So the whole point of this video today is we're going to do a live Q&A. So James, as someone who's started out, he's very new to the game, so all of the problems that he's encountered, he's been sending me, I've probably had a phone call twice a day.
Yeah.
Maybe
a lot
five
of
times
phone
a day.
calls. When I first did my first shipment, messages all day.
Lots of messages.
For people that I work for, on my dinner breaks.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of questions from Jimmy, and I just thought this makes the perfect content for a video to help you guys start, because every question he's asked me, and some of it is stuff that I did not expect him to ask me. I was like, why are you asking me that? But it's the kind of thing that's going to crop up when you're new and you haven't had that experience. So I've been in this world for so long now. I've been running my own business for 2 years. Majority selling on Amazon. So all these questions that Jimmy's asking is probably stuff that I did ask when I started off, but I'm so ingrained now into the way I do things. I thought it'd be really nice to get a fresh opinion from Jimmy and some of the biggest questions that he had when he started out.
I think the biggest question is, and I get asked this, oh, he's done it again.
I need to turn this phone off, sorry viewers. I might just keep this in. I can't edit all of this stuff out, can I? Let's make it a little bit real.
Yeah.
Stage 1 of filming a YouTube video, turn your phone off. Stage 2, turn camera on.
You know what the biggest thing is? Actually, and I get asked it now since I started, and I asked you it, and then I get asked it all the time at work, and the first thing people ask is, but how can you make money? Because I could just go to a shop and just buy it, and you're selling it for more online by going to the shop. And I think that's an interesting question that people don't think, and to answer it, I think, for me, and you'll add to it, is convenience. People are lazy. That's what it comes down to. People are lazy. But then moving on from that, when you realise it does work, otherwise you wouldn't be watching the video, because you wouldn't watch the video if you didn't think it worked, is verification. Now I've watched all your videos. I haven't seen one on verification.
Yeah, okay, I haven't done a video on verification, and I think probably we should probably document how you got on with yours, because it's so long ago since I went through mine.
Yeah.
But, oh my god, it's such a painful process.
Yeah,
and everybody who's serious about selling on Amazon will go through this verification process.
Yeah.
Yours was triggered right at the start because you chose to go as a partnership. So, to give it some context, Jimmy has started a partnership with his local friend here. I don't know if I want to say his name, is he happy to be on it?
We'll leave his name out.
We'll admit it, Mr. X. So Jimmy and Mr. X have started their own company as a partnership. And when you set up as a partnership on Amazon, that immediately triggers the verification process. So this is the point. So when you start as an individual, Amazon will... I've got to stop moving the table because I'm shaking the camera. So much editing. Like here. You're allowed to sell a certain amount. Amazon will just allow it. You're not making this easy.
You try so hard.
Such a table banger.
I'll do your leg or so.
I'll do slidey hand.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you start out as an individual, Amazon will allow you to start and sell up to a certain amount without any questions asked. And then once you tick over a certain amount, I can't remember what it is, I will look it up and I will link it somewhere on this screen so you can see how much you're allowed to sell. And once you sell up to X amount, then Amazon will say trigger, boom, verification. You have to go through this process. Verification is basically you telling Amazon exactly who you are, how you're trading. It did happen to me.
Yeah.
So I started as an individual, I sold a certain amount, doing really well, over the moon, and then boom. you stop selling, all your stock gets put in hold, and Amazon, you're sat there with all this cash you've invested and you can't actually sell it.
It's not nice.
It's a pain in the bum.
It's not nice.
Absolute pain in the bum.
Horrible.
And I had much more stock than you did at this point.
Yeah,
I had thousands of pounds worth of stock in the warehouse.
What was it? Only about 76 items when we went shopping. I sent it all in, thinking I'd be an individual seller at first, done, and then they wouldn't verify us like that, and that's when the whole partnership debacle started, basically. Tough process, I'm not going to lie to you, but it's worth it. Definitely worth it. That's what I'd say, absolutely worth it. Is because they're trying to get rid of all the people that aren't serious, that are going to make it difficult for them. And if you get it through that process, then they know you're serious about doing it, I think.
Great.
Yeah.
And that actually is a real benefit for me and for you, because like if you're dedicated enough to persevere and get through that verification process, I reckon 70% of people drop out during that. So if you manage to stay on the wagon, plough through, get the things done that you need to be done, and then that provides less competition for us as sellers.
Oh, we've got a cat in here now. Can you come get this cat? As you can see, very professional. Come on, Oscar.
Back in the game.
Yeah, back in the game.
So where were we pre-cat incident?
Yeah, verification.
Verification. Yeah, because, okay, so the more people that drop out because they can't get through the process, the better it is for us.
Yeah.
And I see it all the time. You will begin to see it, but you see sellers coming in, selling your product, selling the same products that you are, and then just dropping off the planet. They last there for a very short period of time, they probably make the sales, then Amazon say, give us some more details, get through this process, jump through these hoops, and people don't do it.
And it's my biggest advice would be, for me, would say to you, if you're going to do it properly, and actually get registered self-employed if you are going to do it properly, because you are, like Glenn found, going to come across that stumbling block. Go across it at the beginning before you go and ship in stock. Get verified, then ship in the stock. Because what happened to me is I shipped in the stock, I then didn't get it verified individually, then I had to become a partnership, that took 3 months. So get verified, and then when you're verified, then ship in the stock, because some of the first shipment lost value because of that. And it happened to Glenn. Glenn had his stock sat there, because then he had to become a limited company, and then because of that it'll cost him X amount of money. So get verified, do it properly, become self-employed, and then you're ready to go, or however you want to do it, self-employed, limited company, however. But if you're going to do it properly, an individual seller is only going to last for a certain amount of time before you want to make real money, and then you're going to have to do it anyway. And
if you're serious, you're going to tick that box at some point. You're going to breach that threshold, and then you're going to have to go ahead. And
then you'll be losing money because your stock's already going to be there, because you never know when that point's going to come, I don't think.
And you could have this product, for example, sat there in the warehouse. You could be like, oh, this sells for 20 quid, I make £10 profit. And then by the end of the time you finish the verification, that's a loss maker.
Yeah, I could sell that when I bought it, and now I can't.
And now I'm buying it off Jimmy for a much reduced price, isn't it?
Happy days for me.
Great, so I can one up that. I can one up that whole story. I set up a company. Well, I set up a company with a friend. This is how I started the business. So if you're watching, Hud, how you doing? You should be if you're not, because I've told you to watch this channel so many times. So if you do watch, you're a really nice person. So me and Hud started this business. We started this business. And during the process of starting that business, well, he then moved to Scotland. We set up the Amazon account through this company. Then eventually, he moved away. We decided to shut that company down. So I had to shut that down. And then I set up a new company, and I needed Amazon to move that old company onto the new details. 3 months that took.
Yeah, and that's how long it took me. 3 months to get verified.
3 months.
Pretty much to the day.
And at this point, this is my sole income. You've still got a full-time job.
I'm still going to work. I'm not planning to leave work. It's all
about
time.
Side hustle for you.
It's all about time management. And I'd say to people that do work full-time, like I do, and like I say, I intend to continue working full-time, there's definitely the time there to be able to do this. The hardest part in terms of time is actually the verification, because you have to phone Amazon, you phone HMRC, all that takes time. But once you get in, there's emails back and forth. Important that you have your emails on point in terms of following your emails, tracking your emails, because they will get back to you. You need to respond as soon as you can, because if you delay it, that's just causing more delays overall. And even when you've signed up, your email needs to be the one that's linked to your phone, because you need to be able to know when you've got an email, because Amazon will email you when you signed up as well. It's
so
important.
Imagine all this pain, but this was my entire income. I was literally pulling my hair out. I was at my wit's end with this whole thing.
Yeah.
But you know, you get through it, and I'm the one that survived, and I'm still selling today, and it is my sole source of income, and I made a lot of money out of it. Jimmy, you're going to do it as a side hustle. He's going to make a lot of money off it on the side. But this isn't something you need to do full time. I've just chosen to do it because I'm just an entrepreneurial person. I really struggle to not have my wings clipped, basically, in a full-time job.
And
And
the more you do it, just on that quickly, the more you do it, the less time it takes. In terms of, there's things you do within the system, within the website, that'll just save you time. And then you just, overall, it'll become less and less to where the point where you, if you like me, Glenn obviously it's different, but me, I might spend an hour on it a day. That's it.
Yeah.
Unless I'm buying and shipping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's verification out of the way. Jimmy, have you got any more questions?
I think once you verify it, it's important in terms of margins. How do you calculate your margins? Do you calculate in VAT? That sort of thing is quite important because there's certain fees you see that aren't necessarily included, as I found out, when you actually come to selling the product. So if I was going to scan a product, what do I need to be, in terms of the fees and everything else, what needs to be taken into account?
That's a very good point. So taking every single expense you've got into account. So for example, if you're shipping a product, you have to pay for a box. You don't have to, you can source boxes, but when you get serious, you just buy them, because I can't be bothered to go and source 3 boxes off anyone. But put everything into a context. So you've got a box you've got to pay that you're going to fill with stock. Secondly, you're going to have to pay that inbound shipping to get it into Amazon's warehouses. There's the outbound shipping cost from Amazon to the customer. There's the fees that you pay to Amazon for them to market your product. There's VAT that sits on all of that, which you need to take into account.
And it's
I'm VAT registered, so I remove all the VAT, but it is hidden if you're a private seller.
Yeah, if you're a partnership even, it's hidden if you're not VAT registered,
Because Amazon is a business, and when big businesses talk to each other, they always talk ex-VAT. So if I'm talking to a wholesaler, we'll be talking ex-VAT. That's why if you walk into Costco and you look at the prices, it's got the ex-VAT price and then underneath the with VAT, just in case you're a person that's walking in off the street. Costco was originally a wholesaler that just used to deal with businesses, and they kind of opened up the doors to the general public if you can get a membership. And that's why they've got those 2 options. But when you're in business, you're only talking VAT, so keep it in mind.
And if you sell abroad as well, I think that's important in terms of the prices, fees, selling abroad.
Yeah.
Keep on top of that.
So that is something that a lot of amateurs don't know about, really, or talk about. It's only because we talk and I've told you this is an option, but there's within the Amazon network and ecosystem, they're obviously present across all of Western Europe. So you can check a box within the Amazon ecosystem that allows you 5 countries, that allows you to sell into these foreign countries, which is also Germany, France, Italy, Spain. So you can export. So then you've got all those costs of shipping and selling through the UK, but then you have to look as well, if you're going to set prices that you're selling abroad, you need to look at the exchange rate. You take into account it's an increased shipping cost, and any taxes that are involved with those countries as well. So
it's important to look at, because I've been studying it when I first started. So if you are going to do it, make sure you check the shipping fees, everything else before you go and sell at the same price over there you do here, and find out you're out of pocket.
Yeah, and I have to say I did it as well. I made some absolute corker of loss makers. I was sat there in the shop going, this is a great purchase. And I went and I shipped it and sold it. I analysed it at the end of it, like I made a huge loss on that.
It's easily done though.
Yeah.
It is easily done. Sales rank, also, sales rank in terms of, I think when you first start, my first question is if I see, when I saw the scanning, you start scanning stuff, what's a good sales rank? Now I knew in toys what a good sales rank was because you told me. And obviously you expand a little bit off that, electronics, video games. But in terms of sales rank, how important is it to know your sales rank, know what it's selling for? I think that's vital, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's very important. And the whole thing, the biggest thing you're going to learn when you get into this Amazon business is that you need to be in control of your stocks. So when I was working for big retailers, the merchandisers, which sit opposite me, so I was working in buying, the merchandisers are the people that sit opposite the desk. I'd buy, they'd choose how much to buy and where it goes. And there was a saying within merchandising that if you buy too little, you'll get a slap on the wrist. If you buy too much, you'll get sacked. So that's essentially the bottom line here. You need to capitalise on the opportunities when they're there, but if you buy too much and you get sat on that stock, or the market gets swept from underneath you, then you're left there high and dry with no cash to reinvest.
And that's important when you first start. If you haven't got much capital, you need the capital back.
You need the capital back. You need to churn it when you start off. So you've got to stick to the fast selling things. And I will do a future video just entirely talking about sales ranks and which sales ranks I would personally go for.
Yeah.
And analysing. Because every different category, just to give a quick understanding, every different category has its own sales ranking system. So within toys, there are millions of toys in the country. So if you were to get a toy that's 100,000, you might sell 1 or 2 a month if you're cheapest. Whereas if you get a toy that's 2,000, you could sell 60 a month. And then that same thing would apply to a different category, such as electronics. And then you have to understand how big the market is, because number one is the top selling product. So if number one in a range of 1 million, then that's going to sell a lot.
Yeah.
So
that's a damn lot.
Whereas if you look at something like video games, there's not many out there in the market, so you have to reduce that number. Say, I'll buy something 100,000, sure, to down to like maybe 5 or 6 or 7. So you need to understand where each of those sit. But I will do an in-depth video about sales ranks and good areas to go after.
Obviously, I did FBA to save time. Obvious reason to do FBA is the reason I didn't want to do eBay is time, post office. I didn't want to do that. But apart from just time, what are the advantages of FBA in terms of when you explain it to people, obviously the buy box, everything else just around that, in terms of what's the advantages of being FBA, costs about £30 a month, over being, say, someone that just does it on the side and
huge advantages. So a lot of people out there, and I think people that are probably tuning into this channel will be eBay sellers. And when you're an eBay seller, you do understand that there's a lot of time spent. You got to list the products on eBay, and then when they sell, you got to ship them. The beauty of selling through Amazon and Amazon FBA is that product listing is already there for you. Like, Amazon don't mess about. It's either that product or it isn't. So if you find that product and you can see there's margin in it and it will sell fast, you can buy it. So the whole listing process has been removed. And then when it comes to selling FBA, you can do FBM, which is fulfilled by merchant. FBA being fulfilled by Amazon. Fulfilled by merchant means when it sells, you post it yourself. Whereas when you do FBA, it means I can pump as much stock as I like into this machine, and when stuff sells, they'll just post it for me. So the time savers absolutely.
But forget time.
Can't compare.
Forget time when it comes to pricing. How important is it when you fulfil by Amazon with regards to pricing?
That's it. That's your main focus, isn't it?
Because of the buy box, and the buy box. For anyone that doesn't know, most people may know, but what is the buy box? Because that's the main thing of why you want to be fulfilled by Amazon, for the buy box.
There's a lot of knowledge in this video actually. This is going to be really useful to people.
The buy box.
But the buy box is so effectively when you've got you've got the particular listing on Amazon and you've got like 20, 30, 40 sellers sat behind it selling the same product. They've all paid whatever price they've had to pay. But on Amazon, if you're a customer and you're browsing the website and you say, okay, I want to buy this, right, you'll find that.
Stop putting that on it. It upsets me.
Well, you should have. Yeah. I'm going to make a lot of money off that, so I'm fine with it. I'm going to keep showing it.
Yeah,
so say you've got an Amazon listing. This is your Amazon listing. So the customers navigated to that, and then underneath that you've got all the different people that are selling it at different prices. Now, if you're cheapest, you will be the one on the Amazon page for this product. When you press buy now, this will go into your basket from the seller that's the cheapest.
Yeah.
So the trick to be in the buy box is to be the cheapest person that can sell this product, and then you will be the one when the customer clicks. They think they're buying it from Amazon, but actually they're just buying it from you.
Yeah.
And Amazon are fulfilling it.
And if you're fulfilled by Amazon, your price can be higher than if you're posting it yourself.
I'll take this out of the way now, so stop upsetting you.
Yeah.
If you're fulfilled by Amazon, you've got a higher chance of getting the buy box. If you're fulfilled by merchant, then that sells and you ship it yourself. Or I'm fulfilled by Amazon and Amazon ship it for me. I could be £2 more expensive than the person that's shipping it themselves, but I will get the buy box. Because Amazon know the customer service is better and they'd rather push it through their own infrastructure.
And the people will know in terms of, it'll say Prime as well and all of that, in terms of the fact it'll be there next day, and if they want it next day, it'll be there. And I think that's important to people, especially around Christmas and stuff like that. They want to...
Yeah. It's just a better customer experience. Well, I've never been dissatisfied with the customer service I've had from Amazon.
And it's important to realise the importance of the buy box. Because quite frankly, if you're not in the buy box and your product's new, like the person in the buy box, it's not selling.
If you're in the buy box or not is the difference between selling 10 a day or none a day.
Yeah, it literally
it's that black and white.
It is, yeah, it's literally
that black and white.
If it's unless it's used, and if it's used, you might be selling it cheaper, and therefore you're not in the buy box, and someone might want it. But if it's new and theirs is new, and you're not in the buy box, it's not selling. There's not even a grey area. It's just not going anywhere, basically.
It's not going anywhere.
And also another thing to point out is when I was scanning stuff and it says Amazon, so it'll say what they sell for. The FBA sellers, that's what you want to look at. The FBA sells the buy box. That's important to look at. That's what you're looking at as an FBA seller. I'd definitely recommend fulfill by Amazon instead of by merchant. But also sometimes it always says Amazon there. Sometimes there's a price underneath. Sometimes there's not a price underneath. Now, what's that mean, Glenn, in terms of if there's a price there, what's that mean? If there's not a price there, what does it mean?
Okay, so if you scan the product on your phone, you scan this, in that Amazon section there, if Amazon have got a price by it, it means that Amazon are stocking the product, and if Amazon are stocking a product, then that is a huge...
You know, I'm going to show.
It's a huge no-no. You're going to show the camera?
I'm going to show the camera. You keep talking, I'm going to show the camera.
Okay, sounds good.
But it's not always a case of if they sell it, you can't sell it. It doesn't mean...
No, I mean, there's a few things to go into play. So if Amazon are selling a product, generally you want to steer clear of it, massively steer clear of it. But there's a few times where it is acceptable to go up against Amazon and sell a product. So if Amazon has set their price at £60 and you can buy something for a cost price of say 10, then there's a very good chance that you can sell it cheaper than Amazon. Okay, let me start this. Let me rephrase this entire situation. So if Amazon are selling a product, you can sell that exact same product as Amazon, but chances are, as soon as you drop the price, Amazon are going to match you. You drop the price again, Amazon are going to match you.
And Amazon get the buy box.
And Amazon will get the buy box if you're the same price. So, and Amazon have a lot better buying power, so chances are Amazon's cost price is far cheaper than yours, so they've got a lot more they can stomach when it comes to cutting their margins out. Just
to show you, if hopefully the camera can see this, if you look on there, it'll say Amazon £13.18. Now, if there's nothing in there, that means Amazon aren't selling it. But there are websites out there that'll tell you where Amazon sell it, whether they're out of stock. What sort of websites are there available? If you're starting out, obviously you can't afford some of the software you use, but what websites can you use to maybe keep up with that in terms of knowing whether Amazon sells something or not?
Yeah, we'll get onto that. So basically, I'll just finish off the conversation about Amazon. So Amazon will keep matching you and they will always get the buy box, but eventually there is a point where Amazon have got it set within their algorithm that they are not going to match you anymore. So they've probably got a profit margin limit, so they might stop there. And then you can sit 1p under, you will have the buy box and you can continue to sell it. So if you see that there's, Amazon have got it at £10.50 and there's an FBA seller at £10.49, you know you can sit with that FBA seller that's at £10.49 and still continue to churn that product through without Amazon stealing the buy box off you.
Yeah.
So that's one situation where it's acceptable to sell at the same time as Amazon. The other time it's acceptable to sell at the same time as Amazon. If you scan your product, for example, you scanned it, you can see that Amazon are selling it, but if you flip onto the retail website, so scan it as a customer to check it, and you see Amazon have 10 left in stock, you know it's a fast selling product that will sell 10 in a day, then you know by the time you buy it, ship it into the warehouses, Amazon would have gone out of stock, you can shift through your units, and when Amazon restock again,
you're out.
You've made a big old profit.
Yeah. Happy days.
Yeah, so they're probably the two times where it is acceptable to sell the same product as Amazon. If not, you're just buying stuff and sitting on it to bide your time, hoping that Amazon go out of stock, which does happen. I mean, over Christmas, it happens all the time. They'll go out of stock, in and out of stock stuff all the time. But is that the right way to go about your business? No.
No.
You shouldn't speculate. You should go for the surefire bets.
And after 6 months, the storage fees are expensive. So you have 6 months till you start paying long-term storage fees, and they are not cheap. Especially when you get later into the year. There's different bands. So for those people watching this, between a certain period it's X amount. Around Christmas, if you're in long-term storage fees, then it's not cheap. And all you're doing is just that money's just going. It's just sapping out your capital, basically. Yeah.
So if you leave your product in Amazon's warehouses, they don't want it there. No. If it's not selling, they don't want it there.
It's cheap to get it back though.
It's very cheap to get it back. Yeah. I think you probably could just get it sent back and then send it back in again.
Yeah.
Depends on if you've got enough margin to stomach that to and fro messing about. But generally, you don't want to be in that situation.
No.
You buy stuff to sell it. If I'm not going to sell something in 6 months, I will not touch it with a barge pole.
Yeah,
or you'll just end up chucking it in, and when it comes to near the end of the 6 months, you've got 3 weeks left, you just cut the price and you make a huge loss on it, and you've just sat in Amazon's warehouse for all that time.
That doesn't mean though you can't buy a slow selling product. In terms of, if you know something's not a high sales rank but it's a great margin and Amazon don't sell it, then it's just about knowing to buy the right amount. In terms of, Glenn walked around today, for example, he walked into the shop and there was something in toys about 100, and he'll go over sales ranks, about 112,000. And there's about 6 there, and he bought 2 of them. He says, I'll have 2 of them. Now, if that had been 20,000, he'd have gone, I'll have all 6. But it's about knowing where's your line in terms of what will sell, how long will it take to sell. Because you're happy to have your high margin stock going, and then you've got your volume just churning out. For example, sorry, Glenn, these.
I've got to cut that out of the video because that's competition. We'll edit that. Yeah. For example, these. Jimmy's favourite product.
You know what, I actually put them in because I don't think you could get them anymore.
You can't. That's why the price has gone up.
I'm
okay.
a step ahead of you.
Cool, right. Me and Jimmy have just topped up our gins and realised we've been waffling. Cheers, mate.
For a long time.
Cheers, mate. We just feel like we've been waffling for a very long time. But you know what? In that video, there was so much juicy, useful information. So much juicy information.
And it just touches the surface as well.
That touches the surface. So I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this and you've learnt some bits and bobs. But I think what you need to do now is, if there's anything you want me to dig deeper into and give you a bit more of an understanding in any future videos, sales rank is going to be one that's definitely coming. Verification process is kind of everyone's own personal struggle, but I'll see if I can provide any insights to that.
A little step by step, I think.
We'll give a little. We'll dig into yours later. We'll make some notes and we'll see if we can provide a bit more detailed analysis on it. Yeah. But I suppose, the bottom line is just, if there's anything you want me to look into in a bit more detail, like we covered a lot today, let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, give me a subscribe, and more juicy Amazon content in the future.
Time for me to get smashed and do some shipping, I think.
We've got a lot of shipping today.
A lot of shipping to do.
Peace out.